There is a need in our community for a universal change. And it has to start with the man. Being a man of God means being a man possessed of the knowledge, the spirit, and the power of God, anointed to do his will. To build a people, you first must make man. Every man, no matter what his color, no matter what his race, every man, in order to be a man, must be a man of God, or he's not a man at all. Let us make man. There is a need in our community for a universal change. And it has to start with the man. Being a man of God means being a man possessed of the knowledge, the spirit, and the power of God, anointed to do his will. To build a people, you first must make man. Every man, no matter what his color, no matter what his race, every man, in order to be a man, must be a man of God, or he's not a man at all. Let us make man. What do you have to say about racial profiling? To teach on that. Driving while black. What do you have to say about the condition, the reality of your people and a corrupt educational system? What do you have to say about preachers who feed themselves and not the flock? What do you have to say about leaders who are pimping the people but not feeding the flock as Jesus asked the leadership to do? You got so many subjects to talk on.
Go ahead.
I know MF is a strong word.
Go ahead.
I didn't say it. But MF is a strong word, and every third word coming out of your mouth, MF, this is MF, man, MF. And you popularize MF. And you know why that's a popular word with us? Do you know why that word is popular? Look at you, brother. Come on over to my crib. When does a house become a crib except you a baby playing games? So you go in the house and your wife got a rattle for you? And a nipple for you? See, MF got significant social ramifications.
Yes. Go ahead.
Because mama could never nurture us to be real men. She tried her best, but a man wasn't around to help us grow into real men. So we marry our women and they have their first child. So sometimes we call her mama. Hey, mama. Because she's part of the nurturing process. So when you say MF, what you saying? See, you're having sex with your other mother. She's looking for a husband. You looking for a mama. You're looking for somebody to nurture you and finish the process that should have begun and ended before, but that process was never completed, and that's why we have a slang that depicts the condition of our reality. Now, I want to talk about the bitch and the whore. I'm not cussing. Because both words are in the dictionary. But I won't explain it. Every time you go to an award and you get an award, LL Cool J and Masterful Brother and the great Master P and Puffy Combs, and God, there's so many giants in here. But when you get your award, I see you step to the front, you know. And you bling blinging, you know. and you got your gold cross on with diamonds, you know. You say, you know, platinum. Excuse me. I told you I was a student. And you say, gee, I thank God for this award that I got tonight. You know what I mean? Then you thank your mother, your father. But God always come out of your mouth first. You know why? Because you're really the people of God. And without God in your life, you know your life is empty. But the moment you sing your song, you go right away from God and join Satan.
Whoa. Whoa.
So now, wait a minute, Farrakhan. Don't lay that trip on me. You know what I mean? How you gonna tell me I joined Satan? Let me show you. See, the devil is the opposite of God. And we can be of God or we can be of Satan. You can make that choice. Now let me show you what I mean. In the Bible, as well as in the Holy Quran, God created male and female. Created he them, called their name Adam, 5th chapter of Genesis. 1st chapter of Genesis, he made the man and also the woman in his own image and after his own likeness. So who are you? If you are made in the image of God and the likeness of God, and you are the children of God, then you grow up to be what? So David the psalmist said, ye are all God's children of the Most High God. Now, when you turn God upside down, it becomes dog. So this is my dog. Hey, dog. Yo, dog, what's up, dog? Why didn't you say, what's up, God? See, because God would force you to respect another God, to honor another God, but a dog don't force you to respect nothing. Now, if we're dealing with dogs and not gods, then the female dog is called a bitch. So you said, I thank you, God, for this award, but that bitch over there, that hoe. Now, where did you just jump from God and jump right over on the side of Satan, because it is only Satan that turns the reality of God's intention for man and woman into the very opposite of what God intended. So the woman is not only the goddess and a woman of God, she's a bitch now. And a bitch is a female dog. So if you came from a bitch, then you a son of a bitch. I'm not cussing. I'm explaining.
Break it down. Break it down.
That's why I grieve. Because I know every female in here, no matter what her color is, she's the agency of creation. And I cannot call the woman that God made a bitch. Because then I denigrate my mother. I denigrate my grandmama, my sister, my auntie. And I refuse to be a part of Satan's game of producing dogs instead of gods. Huh?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Now, to the leaders, I want to help you to see why the children, the young, are not listening to us. And I can't put myself in that category because I'm not in there.
That's right.
Because I don't know nobody that call 1,000,000 men and get 2 if the people were not listening to him. I may not always say the thing that you think I should say in the manner that would please you, but I am consistent. Now I want you to hear this.
Go ahead.
Every one of us that are the leadership, and I'm not talking to the new leaders, I'm talking to the old guard now. Okay, Gracie, it's you and me, and the older God, not you. Look at what the Bible says. Woe unto the shepherds who feed themselves and not the flock. Should not the shepherd feed the flock? Talking to the leaders. You eat the fat, you clothe you with the wool, you kill them that are fed, but you feed not the flock. It's not talking about us getting together with a lot of government cheese. It probably has more formaldehyde in it than the dead bodies that we buried. I'm talking about feeding human beings the Word of God that would inspire them to grow up into God. That's the role of leadership. whether you are a spiritual leader, an economic leader, a social leader, a political leader, all should be elevating people and making people to discover the gift that God has put within them, nurture it and exploit it for the glory of God. That's our role as leaders.
Yes, sir.
It said, the diseased have you not strengthened. There's a whole nation of diseased people out there. How many of them have we strengthened with the word that comes out of our lips? Neither have you healed that which was sick. The black community is sick, but the white community is sick too. Where are the healers? Racism is a disease. It's a sickness. Here are the children of God, Jews, Christians, Muslims, all claiming Abraham as the father. The father would be blown if he could come back and see his so-called children slaughtering each other in the name of God. Religion is sick.
Go ahead.
I'm going to say it again.
Go ahead.
Religion is sick because it is not the instrument of the spiritual liberation of the people. It is the instrument of the enslaving of people to doctrine and dogma and ritual, but not elevating people to see the best in themselves and exploit their own greatness for the glory of God. All religions have weakened from that which the prophets gave them. The subjugation of women in Christianity, Judaism, and Islam is a travesty. Yeah. How you gonna tell? I was in a Baptist church. And I was pleased to be there. They allowed me to come in. And I was preaching this night in a city, and I looked back at the preacher. I'm not going to say what city. But I said, Reverend, you don't allow women up here. And I said, suppose Mary, the mother of Jesus, came in the door. Would you tell Mary that she couldn't come up here? And she gave you your Lord and your Savior? What is so holy about this place that a woman can't come up here and teach us, but she can give us our Savior? I said, brother, would you tell that to your mother? She couldn't come up here. He said, she can't come up here. I said, brother, I got to disagree with you, but we'll talk about that. And I appreciate you letting me in your church. But that's sick. But look at you. Hey, when you go to church, you try to put on a different air. Shh. Oh, wait a minute. You say, this is a holy place. Ah, stop it. Just stop it. There's wood on, and stone, and marble, and draperies, and copper, and brass, and gold. And that's holy. That was made by man. But the woman,
Go ahead.
and you,
Go ahead.
and I, and every human being that walks the earth was made by God. So how is church holier than you? No, I want you to listen to me. How how should I be respectful in a house of stone and then disrespectful around the flesh and blood of a human being that God made in his own image? If I can't cuss in church, why should I cuss my brother? You are more valuable than any church. It's just that you haven't consecrated the body to be the repository of the Spirit of God. But you are God's. Why don't you let him come in? See, now, if God comes in, something else got to go out.
Go ahead.
Because two things can't occupy the same space at the same time. Now you say, I want to be a part of the kingdom of heaven. Good word, good for you. But check this out. Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is within you. What? I never heard that before. Oh, no. Go read it for yourself. Heaven will come on the earth when you and I kick out that government that's presently in the brain that got us functioning contrary. So kingdom, king, not D-U-M-B. Yeah, but the king is dumb sometimes. But D-O-M, you add an E and it is a dome. Your dome is your head. But the question is, who is the king in your dome? See, when your mouth opens, I can tell who the king is.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
When your actions come from your hands, I can tell who the king is. You give lip service to God, but I know who's ruling in the dome. But if the king, the true king, is on the throne in your dome, then you can say like me, the Lord is my shepherd.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't want for nothing.
Go ahead.
I'm a free black man, brothers, sisters, because there's a new king on the throne in my dome. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restored my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness. And yea, though I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I don't fear no evil, for thou art with me. Now look, brothers and sisters, you the new leadership, but you got to change the ruler in the house. The revolution is being televised. So I want you to overthrow the government of your brain so that the words of your mouth and the meditation of your heart will be acceptable in the sight of God. So please don't tell me, Brother Russell, that we're not here to clean up. Don't say it like that. Wait a minute, wait a minute. The teacher is talking now. Don't say, don't clean up. I know what he means. He didn't mean that we shouldn't be better. He meant that we're not apologizing for telling the truth of the reality of our condition. And that's right. But Jesus came and said to the people, wash.
Go ahead.
Evidently, they were funky. And Jesus said, wash and be clean.
Go ahead.
Hello. I ain't worried about C-SPAN. They ain't putting this on television.
And I don't care nothing about that. They're just going to say tonight, Farrakhan came, and it was his usual long-winded self. But damn, he had cancer, but he looked so good. That's because there's a king on the throne in my dome. I'm in love with you. And there's nothing that no power can do to make me turn away from what I see in you. I'm not here to condemn you. And I say to those who would condemn you, please. The Bible says, gently lead those that are with young.
Go ahead.
All of these have followers that many who condemn them do not have. So when you see a leader, these are leaders, with followers, don't be gentle, but encourage them. Hey, shepherd, the old guys, they didn't do so good. They didn't feed the flock. The people are feeding you now. You are eating the fat.
Go ahead.
You can wear diamonds now.
Go ahead.
You can come out of a project house and buy a house in a nice neighborhood.
Go ahead.
Where yesterday you walked with holes in your shoes.
Go ahead.
Now you can have so many shoes you don't know which one to put on.
Go ahead.
Yesterday you had to take the subway, the A train, the D train. But today you got a train of cars. Which one should I ride today? And some of you so great you have private jets.
Go ahead.
Fly through the sky. But who gave that to you? See, it's them little people that don't hardly have nothing. But you're their leader. And they bought your records. And they made you big. What are you going to do now to show your appreciation for what they have done for you and for me and for us? I'm almost finished. This is probably the most important speech I've ever made in my life. Because you're the most important people I've ever talked to in my life. Because you are the leaders today of the youth of the world, black, white, brown, red, and yellow. And you have a responsibility, and I want you to accept your responsibility and stand up like the men and women that you are. And lead the youth in a direction that the old shepherds will never be able to misuse and abuse them again. Look at this. Because the old line leadership saw the sheep scattered because there was no shepherd. And they became meat to all the beasts of the field. And the sheep wandered through all the mountains and upon every high hill. Yea, my flock was scattered upon all the face of the earth. And none did seek or search after them. Therefore, you shepherds, hear the word of the Lord. As I live, saith the Lord God, because my flock became a prey. And my flock became meat to every beast of the field, because there was no shepherd. Neither did my shepherds search for my flock, but the shepherds fed themselves and fed not my flock. Therefore, O you shepherds, hear the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord God, behold, I am against the shepherds.
Go ahead.
God is against the leadership of America and the leaders of the world. Because the people are scattered. Look at this. And I will require my flock at their hand and cause them to cease from feeding my flock. Neither shall the shepherds feed themselves anymore, for I will deliver my flock from their mouths.
Go ahead.
And that's why you don't want to hear nothing that these criminals have to say. That's why you don't vote. That's why you're not interested. Because you see preachers as pimps and hustlers. You see the leaders as put up there by the oppressor to look good in their eyes and do what they want the leadership to do. So you'd rather have none of that. And that's why you don't want to go to school. Because what is school but a preparation ground, a slaughterhouse? I don't want to go there to hear nothing about Little Black Sambo. I don't want to go to school and let them tell me about Dick and Jane and Spot. And the only thing that I can identify with is the spot on Spot, and that's black, and Spot white. I don't want to go to no school where you can show me all that Western man has done, but you don't show me what the native people have contributed to the onward march of civilization, what the Aztecs considered and gave, what the Mayans gave, what the Olmecs gave, what Africa gave. You don't want to tell me that. You don't want to tell what China gave. Only Europe. I don't want no education like that. Don't feed me no crap and tell me I'm being educated. Give me a balanced diet so I can look at human beings with respect and honor. Give me nutrition. That's why I don't want to go to school, because the school ain't right. That's why I don't want to go to school, because the teachers have lost the desire and the will and the skill to feed the children. Any of these of my ministers, I go to schools. I don't care how rowdy they are. Give me 5 minutes. And all the students come to attention. Because it ain't about threatening them. It's about educating them. When you grab their minds, you're disciplining them. You don't have what it takes to teach the young. I go to prison. I went up on death row. I've taught in prisons all over America. I went to Dannemora. I went to Greenhaven. I went to all the prisons in New York State when I was minister here. But recently I was on death row. I taught 1,000 of the inmates at Cook County Jail, and the brothers on death row wanted to see me. So I said, yes, I'll go up there. So when I went up, they said to me, Farrakhan, you can't go in. I said, what you mean? I said, no, you can't go inside there. I said, well, I can't talk to them out here. I'm not talking to my brothers from behind no bar. They said, well, brother, you shouldn't go in there. I said, I got to go in there. They said, well, you go in at your own risk. They had 17 men. They were in cages, and they hit a button, and the doors opened, and these men filed out. 14 black, 2 Hispanic, and 1 white. And they let me in, and the big, strong God, he said, I'll be close by. I said, I won't need you. I said, brothers, come on, let's get some chairs and let's get in a circle. And we put the brothers in the circle, and I began to talk to them of what I've been taught of who you are. Within 10 minutes, I called to God. I said, come, I want you to look at them. Do you see animals, or do you see human beings? My teacher, Elijah Muhammad, taught me. Wait a minute. He taught me that light travels at a speed of 186,000 miles per second.
Okay. We'll leave it at that. And I can tell you the rest of that story. Spend majority of my life in the Nation of Islam. And welcome everybody to this occasion. I'm on my first day of my water fast. And this is what I do when I go on my water fast. I don't have time for BS. I don't have time for play. You can consider yourself in playtime and not serious time, but you are. Just because you believe something don't make it true. And that's what all of us. I've been up and down this YouTube streak, I think, for like 3 years now. And I can guarantee you that I can go up and down these streets and I hear the same thing. The same thing they was talking about 3 years before I got there. See, the creator of something is the true representation of how it's supposed to function. And the problem I see in these YouTube spaces is everybody wants to be smart. Everybody wants to use book smart. They want to use intelligence and man can be intelligent and not be smart, and that's what I'm listening to in this YouTube street, and that's why I separated myself and just decided to do me. I think I have lived long enough to earn that. Either you want to be better, or you don't. You can drown in your madness if you choose to do that. There's people in these spaces will sell you bridges, streets, volcanoes. They'll sell you anything that you think you need. But they ain't gonna sell you, they are not gonna sell you salvation. That comes from the Creator himself. And the reason why you having problems up and down these YouTube streets with relationships, because men and women don't have a relationship with God. That is the main thing that's holding our community back from success. I'm not talking about no religion. Because before there was religion, there was natural order of things. And from the old African proverb, holistic way of living. And holistic way of living is nothing other than keep everything in accordance of the natural order of things. It don't come under Christian, it don't come under Islam, don't come under being a Buddhist, yoga. It don't come under none of that. What it really come under is having your personal experience with your creator. Is not so far away, it's inside of you. It was imprinted in your DNA. Now, through the trials of tribulation of living this life on this planet, you've been influenced by media, art, other people, family members, mothers, fathers. That don't mean that they taught you right. They might have gave you the best they can give you, but that's not saying too much if you look at our community as a whole. You know something is wrong. If you're thinking that we're coming back from this thing that hit us about 2 years ago, you can look around and tell people ain't right, man. I'm not talking about the people on YouTube, but just when you go out in public, you can tell there's something missing. We get things to give us the illusion that everything is okay. We started going to movies again. We go to Magic Mountains. I'm in California. You go to Disneyland, Disney World. You partying, but you know something is not right. Now, when you get your true spirituality, you'll know what's right and what's wrong. It won't come from no preacher or no imam or no one. It'll come from inside of you. But you gotta want it. That's the problem. See, the evil forces of this world make things seem to be so fun. From alcohol to weed to uppers and downers, mushrooms, cocaine, heroin, whatever your drug of your choice. He makes sure that you can have a supply of so you can feel good. But I have always questioned that. How did you feel so good you couldn't even remember what you did most of the time? How could you feel so good that the next morning you're so sick by indulging all that you thought was the next coming to Christ? If you was to record yourself in that activity, you'll see how foolish you were. I've been around all my life. I just ain't touched it. The greatest time I ever had in my life is when I was at a gathering right here in California. And we did this when I was younger. That this married couple was having they have it once a year. And I'm pretty sure they still have it. They have it on their birthday. Both of them, their birthdays on the same date. So what they would do would ask you to not bring anything. They have all the types of food that you want to eat, but they just don't serve alcohol. And they don't allow you to smoke weed. And they would ask you to bring a piece of paper or a question or a topic that you want to talk about. And they would put this in a nice vase and they would shake it up. And we all would be sitting around in circles. Some people would be couples. Some people would be single people. And these discussions would be around just life itself. And you would pull the paper out and there'll be a designated person who would read whatever somebody wanted to be the topic. Or they could be asking a question. What do you do if your husband just don't want to? What do you do if your wife? A lot of questions. And the input you get from that type of situation versus what you see over the internet, from that setting, you see grown people having serious discussions about serious topics that affect them and their community And by the time it's over and it's done, we all have walked away and learned something. And I ask you, on all the time that you have spent on this internet, what have you really learned in this space other than a bunch of foolishness? You got people calling each other names like they're 13 and 14 years old. You got grown men offering other men to their sexual part when they get mad and angry. You got women mouth is so dirty. When they speak, you forget that they are even a woman. And I understand when you're in a confrontation with someone and you angry and you mad, you might say certain things. But in some point, someplace, you don't supposed to see what you seen last year and the year before show its ugly head in your continuance of conversation, because that shows me that there's no growth. Where, now see how you doing, where is the growth? Where's the real adult conversations that are being had? And you got to understand, a lot of these spaces that you are visiting into, these brothers are not in their 20s. These brothers are in their 30s. And if they are in their 20s, they're in their last year of 20. These sisters are not in their 20s. They're in their last year, if any, are under 30. And there's a lot of people out there who need information and knowledge of different difficulties that they are having in life, and they're not getting it. Yeah, the super chats is going, and somebody throw $100, $50, and $20, and it seems like everybody's having fun. Building your mind, I can assure you, is not having fun. When you're really having fun, you're using mostly the less part of your intellect. And most of it is foolish. Take it from me. I came to California to be a comedian. I know foolish when I hear it, smell it, or touch it. I can be one of the funniest guys in the world, but I can flip on you in a minute. Because I didn't get my starting from being funny. I got my starting for knocking people out in the ring for over 20-something years. And I just happen to have a good sense of humor because most of the people in my family did have that. But don't you take me for a joke, not even at 63, because I'm hitting like a 19-year-old. Don't you believe that you can get to a level of disrespect and I can't find you, or brothers in other cities can't find you? So I separated myself from them type of pounds. Because when you start disrespecting the minister, you are disrespecting a nation. The minister is head of the nation. As something would happen to him, there's someone who would take his place as Elijah Muhammad. It is a continuous building of men. The nation is one of the oldest organizations that have fought for everyone. I don't care if you was Christian, non-Christian, a fool, or whatever. We speak for the people. We try to eat right. If you look at our books, How to Eat to Live about Elijah Muhammad, I think every black house should have that book in your house. Then you won't have to wonder why A brother can be in 100 degrees in a suit outside and ain't popping a sweat. You wouldn't have to wonder that. How these brothers mean, slim and trim. How a brother like me, easily after my water fast, I can pass in my 30s at 63. Don't have a wrinkle on my body. But you rather follow some fools who overweight, don't have a good diet, and you are digesting all their foolishness because they might have a nice car, a nice house. And they look like they're doing something in life. But what are you following? What are you following? Are you following something real? I had to clean up my language because really, I don't speak that way. I have a way to speak, might not be as eloquent as somebody who's coming from Harvard and Princeton, but my words move something. They words make you lose something. So you gotta watch who you occupy your time with. You gotta watch who you and what spaces that you go in. Because all my life I have known misery, love, company. And a lot of these places y'all go in is nothing other than YouTube Jerry Springer shows. That's about the best you gonna get. Do we in the nation speak as we perfect? No. That's one of the first things we learn when we go through them doors. We learn this one thing. We're going to have to get that in out of us. That's Negro and the other one and the other one and the other one. We're going to have to get that out of it because we all come in from our experience in life. And if you live in enough of America, there's some way that your life has connected, especially as a black man and black woman, who you are, and what you represent, and what you've been fed in your head. I go around brothers sometimes and say, man, you blow my high. I just wish I could have been around brothers that I didn't have to blow and they wasn't high. I'm going to ask you a question. You out with your woman and you smoking weed and you drinking, how can you protect her? You're not even allowed to drink and handle a car, but you feel like you can protect your woman. You can't, bro. You can't. You slipping. I've been accused of being Kappa Savior Ho and all kinds of things up in these spaces, bro. You think that stopped me one iota? No. Because I deal in truth. If something around you is not functioning in the way that it should be, and you are in control of it, the weight is on your shoulder. That's on you. You can't leave it to the babysitter. You can't leave it to the mom. You can't leave it to the uncle. You can't leave it to nobody but yourself. You are responsible if your community is corrupt. And your first community, and your first priority is your family. How would you expect for anything outside of your family not be corrupt and your whole house is corrupt? Here you got a PhD and you don't know who you're supposed to be sleeping with, man or woman. You got a degree in accounting and you can't balance your checkbook or you can't balance your ATM card. You're overspending, trying to live like what we used to call back in the day the Joneses. They get a new car, you got to get one better. And you ain't doing nothing but making other people rich to send their children to the kind of schools, the kind of college on your money, your hard-earned money. You give it up so fast and easy. Only thing somebody had to do is tell you, it's good. This is the best. The Gucci, the Skoskis, and all these other people. Hell, I can't even spell their names. You don't know what kind of life they live, and you wear it in your chest like it represents something bigger than you. Because you ain't got no confidence in yourself. A true man don't walk around with another man's name printed on his chest. I remember one time I was telling a joke. And I don't know if I came up with it, I heard it somewhere, but I did repeat it. Maybe I came up, I don't know. I was saying when Michael Jordan got divorced, who was going to be able to walk in Michael Jordan's wife's life and impress her? How in the hell can you walk in Michael Jordan's wife's life and you wearing his shoe? It don't make no sense. And that's a lot of the things we do don't make sense. We continuously to talk about the problem, and the only solution we have, you keep super chatting me until we come up to a solution. Well, there was a young lady who called herself, I forgot what she called, Miss Cleo. And Miss Cleo was telling a joke herself. Because when you call her, 1-800, whatever them lines was, you had to pay per minute. And the guy called her and asked her when was he going to come in his fortune. And she said, not as long as you keep calling me, you ain't going to never have a fortune. Because a sucker is born every day. And a lot of you young people, I have to honestly tell you, these grown folks are playing you as a sucker. And it continues to pull you in. Because you don't have nobody. Because if you did have somebody, you wouldn't be spending your time with them fools. You don't have nobody. You don't have anybody to give you structure in your life to tell you the things that you need to know versus the things you want to hear. See, looking at some of the greats that destroyed their life by not surrounding themselves with people who would tell them the truth. Mike Tyson, I love that brother. But there was some point in his life, he should have had people around him and tell him exactly what he's doing wrong. He's a ladies' man, but I don't think Mike Tyson was ever a bad person. He was just in a profession that you had to carry a certain chip on your shoulder if you wanted to be great. But there's a lot of you out there, young men, who won't listen to Jay Speed because they don't told you I'm obsolete. They don't told you that what we did didn't work. And you'll believe them. They'll put a beard around their chin, and I call them the Billy Goat Gang. Hair all over their face, and we in the nation, we'll let you have a mustache. That's about as far as you're going. But I ain't got nothing against a man how he wants to look, but it's kind of crazy to me that everybody who hang in that gang, they all starting to look alike, and I'm starting to question that. I question anything I don't quite understand because I've been living on this planet long enough to know BS when I smell it. And so I'm in my teaching mode now. I'm in my fast. My skin is clearing up. Y'all gonna see these bags under my eyes go away because I'm gonna get a little bit more sleep. I'm gonna take y'all through this journey that I do to purify my body from exercise, mental approach to nutrition, because I want y'all to be healthy. Even the older guys, I don't like. It's not that I don't like you, I just don't like your message. I think you are steering young people in the wrong way for your benefit of your bank account, but you don't give a damn about these people. My sister passed away about a month ago, and I think I had like 3 or 4 people, and a lot of people got my personal number. I think only like 2 people called me. Hey man, I know you might be going through some hard times mentally. And believe it or not, it was 3 people, 2 guys and 1 woman. My thing is, if you got thousands of people who's following you, and you can't come up with some kind of plan to push these people who tune into you every night or every day, you can't come up with some kind of plan, then you have to ask yourself, the people who are following, what am I doing here? I've been around some of the greats. See, some of the greats that y'all don't read their books, you don't heard their tapes. I actually been with them people because that's the way OG roll. My thing is, I think I came into this space, and when I was in this space, I got a connection with, shout out to DJ Cooter. I came up with this thing. I think he used to play it on his site way before I know who he was. And he used to play this thing. I used to say, the moon is 6 billion years old. The sun is 6 billion old. Ain't nobody calling it old. If you got something and it works, even if it works then, it could work now, but you have to tweak it. The car you riding around with, the car you driving now, at one time it was a different car. They just tweaked it. It's still a car. But see, these gentlemen who are snake charmers, who are in your head, gonna make you believe that the only person you believe is them. the only person you can believe is them. Well, I can tell you now that anyone who tells you they the all and the all to be all, run. Because no one man in the image of God have all the answers. Not Minister Farrakhan, not me, not anyone who have came before us. We are a work in progress. And if you want to take an example of a relationship, take that example from a man who's been married to one wife, ain't hanging out in no clubs, ain't drinking, ain't trying to be cool over the internet, drinking bourbon, drinking cognac, or anything else. If you want to take that example, take an example from Minister Farrakhan, Honorable Minister Farrakhan. He's been consistent. And you have to know if they had some dirt on him, it'd have been exposed way before now. You can't get dirt on a clean man. My father used to say it in this way: you can't cheat an honest man because he never wants something for nothing. Your problem is, excuse me, and I'm speaking of the younger generation, you've been dealing with the cheat codes on these games, Xbox, Sony, PlayStation, and you think you can just wait around till somebody give you a cheat code where you can finish the marathon. Well, that's only in a design game that you're playing, that someone came up in their head what was going to be the finish line. In life, you're hit with so many things to make that game seem like it's in slow motion, and there's no cheat codes. Because everybody who tried to use a cheat code, either in jail or dead. There's no cheat code, people. There are people who are in knowledge of certain topics. There are people who are knowledge in certain way of life, and they can give you that information, but that's not a cheat code. That is, you take this information and you apply it to your life. As you see fit. But you take it from a man or a woman who's speaking in the tradition of the natural order of things. See, the real things that are important in life, believe it or not, are free. I ain't seen nobody yet come to the grocery store and had to pay for 3 pounds of air. But if you keep going the way you're going, somebody's going to convince you you should be paying for air. Hell, they already don't convince you should be paying for water. Did that years ago. I remember when you would never even see somebody drinking out of a plastic container. They just go to the sink, fill their cup up, and drink the water. But they told you the water was so bad it wasn't worth drinking it. Well, hell, you're still cooking your food with it. That ain't never made sense to me. So I might get a bottle of water, somebody bring it to me in my house or whatever. I'm going to drink it. But hell, I still go to the sink. I got a filtering system in the house. I still go to the sink and I drink water. Look, all this time that I've been in this space, I have always been consistent. I've always wanted better for me and you, the best we can be. See, because You're only as strong as the weakest link around you. And the weaker link around you will tear down the whole house like it was the strongest thing in the house. And the problem that we don't understand, and the problem that we don't want to acknowledge, we are kidnapped people brought from another land, placed in this land that we call home, and we should call home because that is your home. This is where you was born. But you can't take away from the fact that this is where you was kidnapped and brought here. You didn't come here on the Mayflower looking for a better life. So your experience in this country is going to always be unique. It's going to always be a different struggle than some others. And we don't want to identify with that. See, if you don't know the root of your problem, cussing the fruit out, you just waiting for the next man to, bring you some fruit that's free. And say it's sweeter than the one you had. But you still haven't solved the problem. The root of your problem is what produces your problem, not the fruit. The fruit is the communication and the whereabout where you at in life that's causing you so much trouble you can't even identify that it's never been the fruit, it's been the root who support all the information that goes in the fruit. How it's going to be, how big it's going to be, how sweet it's going to be. And we so into trying to patronize this country about how great it is. The difference between you and me, you say how great it is, and I say how great it could be. Because I know everybody is not going back to the motherland. You can get it. Hell, I'm going to just be honest. We don't want some of you back over there in the first place. But the message of the minister was changing the conductor in your dome, and that's you. If you don't want a fast woman, don't choose one. You don't want a cheating man, don't choose one. You don't want a thief in your life, don't choose one. You don't want a hustler in your life, don't choose one. You don't want to get pregnant, don't lay down. Until you find a person that you will consider that he'll be a leader of your family. If you ain't choosing like that, on least you getting over the internet complaining about anything that you chose. You chose. You went out there and bought a raggedy car. You seen that it was raggedy. You lift the hood. He started up. He couldn't even start it up. Had to go get a boost. Put on some cables because it couldn't even, the battery wasn't no good. Couldn't even hold the energy in it, so you had to start it up. You bought that car. You bought that car because it was the nicest looking one on the lot. But it was the worstest one on the lot. You seen one that didn't have the goodest paint job, but you couldn't be riding around in that. You'd be like, hey, look, man, that's killing my flow. I can't get with that. But now you got something you gonna spend the rest of your life trying to fix it up, or you go send it to the junkyard. That's how simple life is. You getting tricked by the illusion, man. You getting tricked by the illusion, woman. I don't care how good a person look to you, if they ain't treating you right, they ain't gonna teach you right. If they ain't teaching you right, they damn sure ain't gonna treat you right. So what's the use of having a car that look good that you can't start up? What is it about a woman that looks good to you but don't give you no peace in the house? What is it good to have a man in the house who don't give you no peace in the house? Would he look good for your friends? He could look good for your family. Your family tell you, oh man, y'all look good together. The illusion of a good relationship when y'all know y'all going through hell at the house. You ask yourself, why do women stay in an abusive relationship? And I'm going to tell you, I don't quite have all the answers to it. But I can tell you, for every black person in this country, you have had an abusive relationship with the United States of America, and you haven't left. So before you start asking women or men that question, you need to answer that question. How many times we go see one of us get killed in one of the ruthless way that you can take a man or woman's life? How many marches we gonna have? How many laws we gonna have on the books? How many laws we gonna put on the book? A law is not anything if a person is not willing to enforce it. It ain't worth the paper that it's printed on. You can have all the laws in the world, but if no one enforces that law, and no one can tell me, I don't care how high you get, what your pay grade is, how much education you got, no one can tell me that black people in this country, African Americans, Africans, whatever you call yourself, haven't had an abusive relationship with the United States of America. You won't be able to tell me that, brothers and sisters. You just won't. You'll be lying through your teeth. Lying like a rug, like they used to say. You know it, but you can't identify with it, because once you identify with it, you're going to have to make some changes in your life. That's what truth do. That's why people don't want to hear the truth, because at that point they hear the truth, at that time, they're going to have to make some decisions in their life. Either they're going to live truthfully or they're going to live a lie. And we're living in time right now that a lie is the truth and the truth is a lie. And anyone could have predicted this. It don't take no genius. You can't sustain in a country that have always oppressed you. You don't go out there and get a dog from the kennel and bring it home and make it one of your family members. That's still going to always be a dog. You got to understand, even though people say they want you to have equal rights and all that other kind of stuff, but your results always tell you the truth. Not what a man said with his mouth, not what a woman said with them. Look at your results. But your problem is you trying to compare your lifestyle against some other lifestyle in the other countries that they keep showing in your face and telling you how great you have it. How in the hell can you have greatness? You feel like you under duress. Anytime you see a red or blue light come up behind you, you damn near almost having a heart attack and hoping that that car is not pulling you over. And that's for all you people out here who say, I don't worry about stuff like that. Yes, you do. You worry about it. You do. Who don't worry about when they feel like their life is in danger? And you know, anytime you get pulled over, you don't know what kind of nut you go get. You don't know if you go get a straight police or crooked police or not even a police at all. We've seen this thing play itself out over and over and over, and we keep making excuses. You're going to have to be accountable for the decisions you make in your life because there are choices. Some good and some bad. It's not the worstest thing in the world that a man or woman can make a mistake. But the worstest thing in the world, if you don't understand the lesson of your mistake and you keep producing. And so this is what I'm going to spend my time doing. You might catch me in other people's chat every once in a while. Like I say, I come over and I just here to support you and give you a thumbs up. Maybe I might say something about their topic, but I'm not wasting no more of my time. I don't have the time that y'all have. I told you. I'm in what I consider half of my life. I ain't got a time to be spending the other half with y'all foolishness. The people who gonna roll with me, go roll with me. People who gonna think about nutrition, people who gonna think about water fast, people gonna think about making themselves better, people gonna think about being always looking younger forever, they gonna roll with me. When I say roll with me, they gonna come over and get their information. They don't owe me anything. They don't owe me nothing. If I'm willing to give the information out, why would I expect someone to owe me something? Even a man who don't respect me, I still want him to be healthy because I figure if he get healthy or she get healthy, hell, somewhere down the line, he might learn to respect me or she might learn to respect me because I brought them some level of better place in their life where they can take that information and apply it to their life and have a more decent life. Ain't no one born is an island. We all need each other. All the color scheme of this planet, we need each other. But the major problem of people, black people, is we haven't got our house in order where we can fall into needing each other. Our problem is we depend on other people who don't have the same team colors to supply our necessities of life. And we're not willing to do it for ourselves. And we know just from our experience here that it can be done. We build them the greatest nation in the world. Why can't we build the greatest nation for ourselves? You have to ask yourself the question. Why can you do so much for someone else, but you can't reproduce that for yourself? I'm not the one who believe in all the talking points in the manosphere, green pill, red pill. Hell, I really don't know what all them pills is. I'm not in pharmaceutical like that. But what I do know is Ragley. The conversations are raggedy. Nobody wants to be accountable for this mess. So we at a tug of war now. They win and we win, and they win and we win. And the person who's really oppressing you, somewhere sitting back smoking a nice Cuban cigar, probably drinking some of the best wine or champagne, and laughing at all of us. Because they are so amazed of the job that they did on us. They're championing their own intellect and say, I know we did a job on it, but I ain't know we did a job this good. We don't have to call them the N-word no more. They on automatic. They calling each other that. We don't have to kill them no more. Hell, they killing each other. Discount style. And for certain content makers who take the minister as a joke, bro, don't get beyond yourself. Please let me warn you. Don't get beyond yourself. Some things are off limits. A lot of comedians found out early in the 90s. The same thing you are about to find out now. He's not your punching bag. Don't you ever take him as your punching bag. Because you might see some light and it won't be a flashlight. Leave the minister alone and let him do his work. He has followers in the Nation of Islam, but he has people who love him on the outside. And why wouldn't you want to listen to a man who's been consistent ever since he put that microphone? You might say to yourself, well, he don't teach like Elijah Muhammad. Well, Elijah Muhammad taught him, didn't expect him to teach like him. Malcolm didn't teach like Elijah Muhammad. Each individual has his own God spirit inside of him and deliver his message the way he think his people are in need to hear it. And most of the people who criticize the minister Farrakhan can't even get their dog to eat at home. So I'm glad that I'm doing well. I can't wait to see what at the end of this water fast, how it's going to rejuvenate me and get me back into the spaces that I need to be. And when I'm not saying spaces, I'm not talking about YouTube, bro. I'm talking about something way bigger than YouTube. When I say spaces, get me in the right mindset so I can do my God work. I was taught by Minister Farrakhan, Dr. Khalid Muhammad, did his security work, Dr. Khalid. West Point, Special Tactical Team. Police have got tapes on me of us training. They train when they see us train. They train to see how to train against us. Most of these brothers on these spaces, you ain't no threat to nobody. Somebody throw you a warm biscuit and a brand new car, and your revolution is over. So stop the playing. So yeah, I'll be tuning in tomorrow to let you, so that'll be my first 24 hours as far as my water fast. And I'm going to get some pictures in the night to show you at the beginning so you'll know exactly. And that's what I'm moving with. Y'all can do what you want to do. But if you want to improve your life, the only thing can give you that is truth. Y'all act as if two things can't be happening at the same time. We can't have a bad community and there's people in that community who are doing good. We must understand majority of the people in our community are not like what you hear people talk about. Because if it was, it would be upside down. Y'all Negroes would be scared to go out of the house if it was as bad as you speak on it on these channels. I live in LA. I don't live in Chicago. I lived in Atlanta. And I'm telling you, there are bad people in the world everywhere. But the good people outnumber the bad people in the world any day. That ain't your problem. Your problem is you got to stop drinking the Kool-Aid and stop letting people come to you and tell you lies. You got to stop letting some of these grown people who are never success in anything in life and try to prove to you how they can bring you value to your life. Only the God inside of you can bring you value in your life. You are the little G of the Most High. Until you understand that, you go fall for everything that somebody put in front of you and dress it up. And before you know it, you'll be so extreme, you'll feel like your whole life was nothing but a dream. We live this. I didn't join the Nation of Islam for Islam. I joined the Nation of Islam because I love the point of I am a man, and you go recognize it. See, you can lift every voice and sing, but if a man hit me, I ain't turning the cheek. I'm gonna swing. That's why I joined the Nation. I was born in a church. But see, most of y'all are so hooked on what you think the nation is versus going in the doors and finding out, hey, you think a person who's trying to oppress you go show you the door of freedom? See, these are the kind of tricks they played on y'all. They hated Malcolm when he was on the scene. And then they put Malcolm on a stamp and make you lick his butt because they told you how much they loved him. See, this is the trick that the devil plays with you. And see, we understand the original devil, but we got a lot of devils we dealing with now. They come in all different colors, all different sexes too. Even the non-binary, whatever the hell they passing around now. You got a lot of evil forces that you have to fight from the time you leave your door till you get back in your house, and some of you have to fight within your own home. Let's make this easy work. Get your health together. Get your spirit together. Get your mind together. Surround yourself with positive people who can enhance the value of your life versus blowing smoke up your butt. It's something you can just, when you leave that place, you can take that and then enhance your life and then upgrade your value just from the conversation. And if you ain't willing to do that, You playing. You are actually playing. 35, 40 years old playing. It could be a lot better. I'm serious. This thing that we dealing with right now, I'm gonna wrap this up, but I want you to see something. I'm gonna wrap this up and might give it another 5 or 10 minutes, but I can give you some experience when I joined the Nation of Islam, where I came to understand God and fear can't be in the same body, and it have saved my life twice because I didn't submit to it. I didn't run from it. I faced my fear. Even with a gun on me, and I moved it. That ain't no joke. Told this story many a time to people who are close to me, and some of them actually know it happened. I know there's a God inside of me. I know God is energy.
There is a need in our community for a universal change. And it has to start with the man. Being a man of God means being a man possessed of the knowledge, the spirit, and the power of God, anointed to do his will. To build a people, you first must make man. Every man, no matter what his color, no matter what his race, every man, in order to be a man, must be a man of God, or he's not a man at all. Let us make man.
I see somebody in the chat ask me that what book would I recommend? As far as nutrition, How to Eat to Live about Elijah Muhammad, and Message to the Black Man. I think that should be your two primary books. And then after that, if you want to get into more the deepness of what this is all about, Dr. Africa, Holistic Way of Living. You probably could get that Dr. Africa book for like $7 or $8. I remember when it first came out, it was like $40, $50. And then this is why I say there's so much information out there that people have lost their way. They don't even, they have this gold mine right in front of them, but they looking for the bling bling to go around their neck versus going in their head. Because once you put something in your mind, ain't nothing to rob you of knowledge. what you should take. I'll be Neil. I'll be going more into details and in that tomorrow about the diet because that's what I'm mostly focused on now. I just wanted to have today where I can show you what my foundation is. So I'll be going into the foods people should be eating and all that kind of other stuff. But I'll be on my water fast that I feel like I don't go on it for certain days. I go on into how my body feel. And when I get right, I know when I'm right. And so, it is what it is. So I will be going, I'll be popping in day, maybe a video for no more than a screen, no more than like 5 minutes and just give you the overall of the things, how you can get your body right, how you can reverse 90% of the diseases that you think you might have by just changing the way you eat. That's my duty as a servant to the community. That's my duty. That's what I specialize in. Dietary, herbals. I studied under Dr. Goss, did Gregory, and did certain studies under Dr. Sabi, who didn't have classes, but if he found out he liked you or something, he would sit down and give you information. And I was been blessed to be in all three of them guys' life, bro. They were walking encyclopedias. Dick Gregory was an expert when it comes down to fasting. Dr. Gall was an expert when it came down to cleansing. Dr. Sabi was a god of curing diseases. What's going on, world class? And Dr. Africa, he covered everything. Dr. Africa covers everything from stones, biology, zodiac, history. When you get his book, it's complete. And so these are, I think, before you start to understand history, you should start to understand yourself. And when you understand yourself, then you go have questions. How you became who you are by the trials or the tribulations of the people before you. And then that's when you dive into history. But first, know of self. Get your own spiritual intact. Whatever is your pleasure. If it's religion, do it. Seriously. Christianity, Buddhism, yoga, whatever tickle your fancy. High Christian, 7-day adventure. Your witness, if that's going to make you a better person. But once you start understanding knowledge of self, you go supersede any religion. Because in the beginning, it was the word. And so that's why, I got away from the nation. But once you FOI, you always FOI. When I'm saying get away from the nation, that's why I wasn't participating in a lot of the things in the last 10 or 15 years. But I'm always FOI. I'm always a supporter, mentally, spiritually, and financially for the Nation of Islam. Because what I learned in there, in 1 week, it take you a lifetime in Freemason to learn. I said 1 week. I was able to get 33 of the wisdom of knowledge, supreme knowledge in 1 week than what you learned and been a Mason all your life. And so I guess I can conclude this stream I appreciate you all coming over here. I'm going to have more and bigger things. I just won't be wasting a lot of time, brother. You got to be patient with me. If you want to learn, you come here. You want to go have jokes and fun, you go other places. There's many places up in this YouTube street that you can go have fun. I'm looking for the serious men who want to rid themselves of the problems of life. Not by J. Speed Lam, but the Creator has put all this information right in your face. And you don't even see it. He imprinted it in your DNA and you don't even feel it. And you wonder why your life is ragged. It's because you have a lack of skill set to follow instructions. Women and men. And until we learn how to follow instructions of the natural order of things, none of this won't even make sense. Peace and love, and always strive for the truth. If you have any questions for me, please put it into the comment section. If you like what I'm doing, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like what I'm doing, give me a thumbs down. I'm not here to pressure you in your choices, what you should choose. I'm here to give the information, and you choose the food you want to eat. Because that's what it comes down to. So, I got a young lady that I'm going to be working with, doing some joint ventures over some of my screens, and we're going to be dealing with the dietary. And I think I'm going to bring her in at the end of my fast, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to get it in. And so, that's all I can, I can't give you no more. I mean, my duty is to be a servant of my people. But you got to be willing to do some of the work too. Seriously. Good evening to you too, Marcus. I hope you and your family is doing well.